Hey guys, Sergeant First Class Bites here. About 4 years ago, I uploaded an infantry what it's like video. Alright, I explained kind of what it was like in the infantry, but I stayed kind of generic with it. Today, this video is going to be about infantry missions that I've personally went on. From the last video, I appreciate all the feedback. Man, I've got so many good comments from that. A lot of people just showing me love, and I do appreciate that. But because of so many people asking for me to make a further in-depth video, here it is. So I spend a lot of my free time hiking, climbing mountains, rock climbing, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so you might hear some bugs, you might hear bears, you might see a fucking fox run by. It's just what it is. But stay tuned. Alright, so before I actually get into the missions, let me just briefly talk about OSA infantry training. Alright, so you're a civilian and you join the military, you live this civilian life, you're used to just doing what civilians do, and then all of a sudden you're thrown into this infantry school. Infantry school is kill, 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 shoot, move, communicate. That's all you learn, right? So the whole time you're in OSA training, they're constantly talking about going overseas. But in my mind, I was like, I'm not going to go overseas. I just didn't think that I would be selected or something. I don't know why. I was just negligent to thinking that it was going to happen to me. But I, at the same time, did want to go. Well, I had mixed emotions, right? Because I said I wanted to go, but I was afraid. I had no training, so, you know, if I would have just at that point got put overseas, I wouldn't have known what the fuck to do. So at first, you know, I really didn't want to go, but I joined because I wanted to go, if that makes sense. Right, so I go through infantry school and they're constantly kill, 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 and you know, we're shooting and we're learning about weapons and we're just going through lots of training. And I started building like a high level of confidence and thinking, wow, if I did go overseas, now I could perform, or I could protect myself and, you know, have my battle buddy 6 and whatnot. But infantry school was like a good character builder, and it gives you like the basic tools of being an infantryman, but you really don't learn how to be a, you know, veteran infantryman until you actually go to your unit. So at the end of OSA training, or towards the end, they start giving everybody their duty stations. Now when you're in OSA training, like, that's something that you're looking forward to, is you want to know like where you're going to get stationed at. You know, I'm hoping, I think my top choices, they give you a wish list, which I don't think really even matters. It makes you feel like you have a choice, but you don't. But I think I put like Germany, Hawaii, and I don't even remember. Just those two only ones that I was really interested in. Oh, I think I put like Italy, but that wasn't happening. So anyways, I get told that I'm going to Fort Stewart. I was a little bit bummed out because it's in Georgia. I was currently in Georgia at Fort Benning, and I'm originally from Florida, so I'm thinking I joined, and I wanted to join and get to travel around the world, and now I'm going one state north of Florida, like 6 hours from my house. So, you know, I was a little bit disappointed. However, I think that it was God's plan to put me in Georgia at Fort Stewart with 3-7 Infantry, because the people that I met there were badass dudes. I literally couldn't have been put with better people. So, hindsight, I was just so blessed to be going to Fort Stewart. But for selfish reasons, you could say, I was disappointed to go there. But, you know, there's bigger plans out there for all of us, I think. So I'm stationed at Fort Stewart, and I got all these guys around me, and they have combat infantry badges, and I'm just like, damn, like, these dudes are fucking sick, right? These are slick ass dudes. They've already been overseas, they fought the fight, they got the CIB, and I really wanted a CIB. I didn't even feel close to their level because, you know, being an infantryman without a CIB and a combat patch, you just don't really feel like, you know, you've done anything really. So I look up to all these dudes, but I do get to train with them, right? We're going to shoot houses, we're staying in the woods, we're going to different training sites, Fort Polk, just different locations and training, and I'm really starting to build this crazy confidence with these dudes that are just real high speed, right? They know what they're doing, and I'm just constantly taking in what they're teaching me. My squad leader, shout out Sergeant Orr, Sergeant Forsyth, Sergeant LeMaster, they were just badass dudes. They had been overseas numerous times. They had been in for, you know, 20 years, just tons of training under their belt, airborne, air assault, just all kinds of training, and they were just dudes that I really looked up to, right? So anyways, they basically prepped me to go overseas, and that's what happens, right? We get the call. We're told that we're going overseas. I can't believe it's happening. And next thing I know, I'm on a plane heading overseas. So I'm on a plane heading overseas, and I just can't believe like this is really happening, right? Like I'm confident, but I'm scared, right? But I ain't telling no one I'm scared because, you know, you don't want the people to your left and right feeling like you're going to be some kind of issue, or you're not going to be able to hold your own, or you're not going to be able to watch their six. But I also knew, like, it's only human to be afraid, and I'm sure that the people around me were a little bit, they were a little worried too. We're heading to Baghdad, Iraq, which was probably the highest casualty producing place in the world at the time. This is around the 2004 time frame. So we get to Baghdad International. From Baghdad International, we jump on these Chinooks. All right, a Chinook, I'll post a picture right now. A Chinook can hold quite a few troops. We're heading to Fob Falcon. We got, I think it was like an 8-minute flight. We've been in the air for about 6 minutes. Next thing I know, it sounds like we're getting shot at. It sounds like bullets are ricocheting inside the Chinook. So I'm like, oh shit, like we hadn't even got to our forward operating base yet, and we're already getting shot at. Fucking my heart drops, and there's nothing I can do because I'm inside a, Chinook. I can't start shooting, right? And then my battle buddy next to me, Velasquez, badass dude, he had a CIB. He's like, bro, just calm down. And I was like, what? We're getting shot at. And he was like, nah, man. He's like, the Chinook just shot off flares just in case somebody on the ground shoots a heat-seeking missile at us. Those flares are going to deter that heat-seeking missile. So I was like, Jesus, like, why didn't nobody tell me, right? So instantly that shit had me on edge. So let's fast forward some, right? So we get to our forward operating base. We get some kind of barracks set up. It was called Fob Falcon. If you're a veteran, Fob Falcon shut down now. It was pretty much just overran with like fucking rockets and missiles. They were shooting mortars at us. The base was just rough. So we get there, we get set up, and we start doing left seat, right seat rides. Basically, that means that we're going out with another unit that we're replacing. They're explaining to us how shit goes down, and they're just kind of teaching us the ropes. Once they've done that, then we start going out on our own. So to prevent this video from being, hours long, I'm going to have to start kind of jumping around and just hitting different missions that I went on, right? Route clearance missions. Actually, every mission was a route clearance mission, right? We're kind of clearing the way for us, for our battle buddies, for other units and whatnot. So we're constantly clearing the route that we're taking out to our sector. We're making sure that there's no roadside bombs. We're just clearing the way. Route clearances were scary though. When the missions were just like completely focused on searching for roadside bombs, those were scary because you're going about 5 miles an hour and you're looking at the side of the road and you're basically just looking for a bomb or looking for wires or looking for anything that looks suspicious, right? So if you watch my previous infantry video, I spent a lot of my time up on a 240 machine gun or a 50 cal machine gun on top of the truck, right? So I stood up out the truck and I had a 50 cal or I had, the 240 on my shoulder. So I had eyes on the ground. I had a higher visibility of the ground, right? I also had a scope. So in the daytime, I would use that scope to scan my sectors of fire, but also in route clearances, I would watch the road and see if I could see wires or anything like that, anything suspicious, like I said. So as infantrymen, one of the things that we would do is QRF if we were near a location that was to get hit or a unit that was to get hit. They call over the radio and then we get basically directed to their location and we go help them out. Now, since we're infantrymen, most of the time they're going to call us when shit hits the fan and we're going to go there and we're going to go handle business. So we're out on one patrol and we get a call over the radio basically saying that a National Guard unit got hit and they were under attack. We were probably 5 mics out, so we proceeded to that location. En route, we're kind of just all mentally preparing for what's going to happen. I'm on top of the 240 at the time. I'm in the lead vehicle. I have Sergeant Lemaster, who is my platoon sergeant. Badass dude, lots of experience. Side note on Sergeant Lemaster, he used to kick and elbow trees to sharpen his bones. That's what he did, like, as a hobby. But anyways, Sergeant Lemaster's guiding us there. I remember we got Paget. I think he was a private at the time, Private Paget. He's driving, and we're hauling ass to get to this location. So we arrive on scene, and I see a 9/16 semi truck, and it had hit a improvised explosive device, or an IED, right? So the vehicle was disabled, it was caught on fire, and the unit was taking fire. Now, it was a transportation unit, so they were taking fire, but I didn't see them returning fire, right? And as an infantryman, the first thing you do if you receive fire is return fire, right? But they weren't returning fire. So as soon as we arrive, we start returning fire and providing them cover and safety. So when we showed up with 2 Humvees and a Bradley fighting vehicle. I'll post a picture of actually a vehicle that I drove, a Bradley that I drove. So we pull up with those vehicles, we start returning fire instantly, and we stop, we dismount, or our dismounts dismount, I'm on the gun, they start returning fire, and within, I would say, 2 minutes, the firefight is basically over, and they take off, right? They don't want to fight us, especially the infantry dudes, and I'm just keeping it real, and if you have a different MOS, I ain't talking down on you, right? But the way that we approach the situation, heavy fire and just suppressive fire, we had them not wanting to go at us at all, right? So they stop firing. We have another unit come start helping this transportation company, this National Guard transportation company, and we decide that we're going to chase these guys that were shooting at us from the structure. Sergeant Lemaster tells Paget to get the fuck out of the truck. Sergeant Lemaster takes over as the driver. The structure that we're looking at has a gate and like a fence around it, and Sergeant Lemaster just, you know, hits the gas pedal, floors it into this gate, knocks down the gate. I suppress a little more fire, shoot out a couple windows where we had taken fire from, and our dismounts move in, and they basically clear the structure. They had it cleared in, you know, 2 or 3 minutes. By this time, we have a Black Hawk in the air, and Baylor X-Ray, which was my battalion, had me on comms, and they started relaying messages from this Black Hawk, and then from there I actually got in contact with the Black Hawk. We were on the same frequency, and the Black Hawk was guiding us where these individuals went, these terrorists went. So at this time, now all of a sudden we have a Black Hawk in the air, and I've got comms with him on the radio. So I'm on the gun, I got the radio to my ear, and basically this Black Hawk is telling me where these insurgents just left. You know, they just left, they hopped in this vehicle, and now they took off. So we mount up and we literally start chasing this vehicle. The vehicle had a pretty good head start on us, but we had a Black Hawk in the air basically saying, all right, make a left, you know, 2 streets up, make a right, and they're guiding us where to go. So, you know, it's an intense situation, but we're going as fast as our trucks will go. We got the Bradley hauling ass behind us, and we end up in this complex, and the Black Hawk basically said, all right, they jumped out of the vehicle here and they ran inside this building. So we get to the location, immediately stop, you know, we pull security, the truck gunners pull security, the dismounts, they go inside the building, and they just start clearing it, right? And at this time, they end up detaining some people, and you know, we get some more assets from our battalion, end up at this location. We set up like a cordon of the area, and basically get it all searched, detain some individuals, and it was just a crazy situation, right? So, you know, just to kind of summarize it, we get called to a location where a National Guard unit gets hit. We show up like some fucking cowboys, and you know, we take over the scene, we return fire, we hit down this gate, the infantrymen move through, my dismounts move through the building. You would say the insurgents got out the back door, they jumped in a vehicle, they took off. Now I've got comms with a Black Hawk. The Black Hawk guides us to the location in which the vehicle with the insurgents went. We get there, we take over that scene. The dismounts, they go through this building, they clear it, they detain some people, and we got the motherfuckers who were shooting at the unit. Alright, so with raids, the best way to raid is by using the element of surprise. If you watch videos about prisons and things like that, you'll see that the CERT team will try to hit the individuals that are locked up with surprise, right? They'll try to surprise them to catch them in the act. Well, that's pretty much how we would do it too, but we would use, sometimes the cover of darkness as the element of surprise, right? So this one day, we're told that evening, approximately 0200, we're going to go on a raid. So the area had already been scouted out by higher up. They gave us a map of the location in which we were going to, and then my squad leader with the platoon sergeant, they basically formulated a plan in which how we were going to arrive on location, security, all the things that like higher up at the time preps for, right? For me, at the time, I was just a private, so I wasn't involved in, setting up or planning raids. That's just not what I did. I just was the dude that carried the gun that was ready to go in first, right? Or I was on the 240. So 02 comes around, and we're mounting up in these vehicles, and we have a female search team with us just in case there's some females that get picked up as well. And we start heading to this location, right? It's 2 in the morning. I probably drank a Red Bull and was getting real hype. Everybody in the at the time I was going to be a point man, so we're in the back of this Bradley and we're en route to the location. We're kind of just getting amped up in the back of the Bradley, but at the same time we're like used to this shit by now. We're used to kicking down doors, so it wasn't like that big of a deal. I think we were more just like focused, right? We were just like real good at focusing on the raid itself, or raids, or what was coming next. So we basically show up at this location. I want to say probably about a half a mile from the house that we are going to hit. So the reason that we're doing this raid is because we are told that there are some individuals that work with Al-Qaeda or something along those lines. They're just terrorists, but they're big timers. They're making weapons. They're making bomb-making material. They got bomb-making materials. They're making IEDs, this and that, right? So we go into it knowing that the chance of a shootout or something serious happening is real. So we arrive about a half mile out, and then we start moving towards the location. We get to this house, and we've got a breach team. So I'm literally the point man. I'm the very first person that's going to go in. I would say that my heart was pounding, but I was just ready to handle business. Again, the people that I worked with, the people that I trained with, they're there with me, and they're just real badass dudes. So I knew that I'd be good. So initially, when you are raiding a location, before you go through this crazy fucking taking a shotgun and shooting the door off, or putting a detonator on it and blowing the door, you just gotta check to see if the door is unlocked, right? Before you completely ruin your element of surprise. Because if you shoot the door with a shotgun to blast it open, what's gonna happen? Everybody in the house is gonna wake up. So first, we check the door, it's locked, right? Then we come through with a battering ram. Boom, they hit the door down first try, boom, knock it down. As soon as we get in, again, I'm the point man, as soon as I got in, there was 4 dudes. They were playing cards, is what it looked like. They were playing cards. I seen an AK, and it was just on instantly, right? So at the time, weapons up, you're going in with the weapons up. So we're yelling at them. We're basically just one at a time. They didn't grab the AK or try to shoot, right? We're just throwing them back one at a time to get to our search team. And we're going through. We get about halfway through clearing this house, and we get told that we hit the wrong house. It's the house next door. I'm like, no fucking way, it's the house next door. So we stop what we're doing right there. We move out of the location. We move to the house next door. Now, what just happened in that situation? We hit the wrong house, but we made some fucking commotion, and next door, I guarantee they heard it. So now we're going to hit this house, and whoever's in there, we already know that they are strapped up and they're ready to, they're going to be ready to fight. So now we're going into a hostile location. Now my heart's really pumping, but I'm focused. Everybody next to me is focused. We get to the next location, hit the door, we go through, we start clearing it. I'm just waiting for something to go down, but nobody was in the home. So I think what happened was they heard us at the house next door, and that alerted them, so they ended up leaving the location which they're at. Now, we did have the area cordoned off, and they could have been captured after the fact, but I wouldn't know about it because I stayed on site after we cleared the place, and then I searched, right? So I'm not 100% sure what happened after the fact. Sometimes you just don't get that intel, right? Another unit could have picked them up that was supporting us, and then they get taken to interrogation, or if they had weapons and they got into a firefight, and then, you know, it just, I don't know what happened, right? So, but yeah, searching through, we found a cache of bomb making material. I have a picture, I think from that location, that I'll post right now. But yeah, on these missions, you never know what's going to happen, right? So we walk into the first place, though, like I said, and there's guys, they're sitting around drinking, they're playing cards, they got an AK, and you just don't know what you're going to enter as a point man. You just don't know what you're going to run into, right? So why didn't I shoot them? Why didn't I shoot the guys playing cards? Well, first off, they weren't a threat, right? I'm not just going to shoot anybody. And at the time, they were allowed to have one AK in their home for protection, right? So they were just trying to hang out and play cards. They weren't doing anything wrong, so it would have been real fucked up if I would have done anything, right? Or if any of my battle buddies would have done anything. So, you know, we went over there to make Iraq a better place, a more safe place, and prevent people from coming over here to the United States. So we're not just over there trying to hurt anybody, right? We're only going for people that are doing terroristic things. All right, so another mission that I went on that I remember very vividly was actually on Thanksgiving of 2005. I believe that was the date, right? Because I do remember that day thinking that it'd be nice to be in the United States with my family, having Thanksgiving dinner, but instead I'm on a rooftop watching an intersection. All right, so how did I get there? So on Thanksgiving 2005, I'm in Baghdad, Iraq, and we go out on patrol, and we are doing knock-in searches, right? So we basically show up to a house, and we knock and we search, and then we move on to the next one. All right, well, we had an ulterior motive this day to knock and search in this neighborhood, but then leave some troops behind in this home that watched the rooftop overlooked a intersection, right? It overlooked an intersection that was producing casualties because of improvised explosive devices. So we wanted to set people up on the roof to watch this intersection to see if we could catch somebody laying down explosive devices. So that day, I think we brought out 10 trucks or so, and they were loaded with, you know, infantrymen, dismounts, right? So we pull in this neighborhood, and the trucks are kind of creeping through the neighborhood. We call neighborhoods overseas mohallas, right? It's mohala, right? So we're in this mohala, and we got dismounts on the ground. We're going up, knock, search, and we have this one specific house that's we're planning on knocking and searching, but we have all these dismounts on the ground trying to basically not let the civilians realize what's going on, right? So everyone's on the ground. It's kind of a lot of controlled chaos and knocking and searching. Well, I get to this one location with my squad, and it's the house that we're going to set soldiers up on the rooftop. So we go there, we do a knock and search. All right, we go in, we start searching, and then we end up taking the family to a room, and we start pulling security on the family, and then me and a couple of the people that are in my squad, we go up to the rooftop, and we start pulling security. Now we have an individual inside the house, and he's pulling security on the family, basically just saying, you know, we're not here to hurt you, but we're here to use your rooftop. Just stay calm. And, you know, basically they're pulling security on them while we're pulling security from the rooftop. We did have a couple soldiers leave that house to make it look like everybody left that location, and they kept going, and then they knock and search at the next house. So the picture I'm trying to paint is nobody knew that we were left behind, right? The civilians didn't know that we had people in that home because we created a controlled chaos to where there was just so much happening that they couldn't see that happening. So that evening, I remember pulling security on this rooftop and watching this intersection and thinking, damn, my family is at home right now having Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm in some Iraqi home with their family held hostage on Thanksgiving. Like, this is just fucking crazy. But then we would rotate. I would go downstairs. I'd pull security on the family. I just had like an M4, and they were sitting on a couch, and you know, I didn't aim my weapon at them or anything. They weren't trying to be a threat, but I had a weapon, and they basically sat there. I didn't really communicate with them. They didn't speak English. If they needed to use the bathroom, one of us would escort them to the bathroom. If they needed food or drink, you know, we'd provide that for them. And if I'm being honest with you, I think that they were just happy that we were there because they had kids, and they got bombs blowing up right next to their house. And, you know, they don't want their kids outside playing and getting hit by a bomb, right? So I think that they were happy that we were doing it. And I think eventually they understood the reasoning that we did it in the way that we did it. And after the fact, I believe we had our interpreter speak with them and kind of just give them a heads up on kind of what went down. But yeah, we stayed there maybe for 12 hours, if I can remember right. We never seen anybody laying bomb-making material down. I really hope that we were going to, not because I necessarily was looking for action, but, you know, I'm just trying to, you know, play my part and do my thing over there and keep the country, or get the country a little more safe. So yeah, that was a crazy mission. Being in someone's home on Thanksgiving, holding them hostage while we use the rooftop. So my plan is to start posting videos once a week. I'm going to make a part 2 to this video, and the part 2 is going to talk about one of the craziest missions that I ever went on. It's actually known as the Battle of Checkpoint 514. It was the craziest day of my life, and I know a lot of my battle buddies, it was the craziest day of their life. And in the future, I would actually like to get at least one of them on camera to talk about Checkpoint 514, just so I can provide somebody else's like their aspect of the situation on top of mine, right? So coming up in my next video will be the Battle of Checkpoint 514. Also look out for, I'm making a video, infantry funny moments, right? I'm gonna lighten it up a little bit. There's some funny moments of some things that happened while I was overseas, or just at different times being an infantryman that I think you'll enjoy. But thanks for watching. If you like this content, you know, let me know below. Tell me what you like about it. Also, if there's a specific kind of video that you want to see, write that in the description. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, share my shit. Appreciate it.